Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you may be watching this transmission on this great planet of ours. It is I, Mike Martens. Welcome to a very special edition of Food Banks to the Rescue. Yes, what does that mean, people? What does that mean? Well, brought to you by ABC News, always broadcasting crap. Well, what do they have to say today? Well, they have quite a bit to say today. Banks are now referring people to Food Bank to help them pay their mortgage. I think the food bank's on volunteer basis. I'm not too sure. Anyways, let's see what's going on here. This is a really interesting one. I've been itching to come home and to read this one for you guys. So here goes. Food banks, South Australia, has been approached by banks wanting to refer their clients to the charity in hope that it will prevent people from defaulting on mortgage payments. Wow. So again, total dirt service ratio. Total debt service ratio, guys. Pay attention. I brought this up for years on the show. I mean, I even brought up a video with TDS calculators. This is from debt.ca. It doesn't matter. It's called Debt to Income Ratio Calculator Canada debt.ca. It doesn't matter because the conversion in currency doesn't really matter here. All I need you guys to do is to calculate your income, $4,000 a month, adds, let's say, somebody else's income. Say someone gets a pension, 333, then monthly debts, right? So we'll start with the mortgage or rent, $2,600, and then let's say that would be a car loan, $400. All right, just like that, calculates, tells you your total debt service ratio. So total income to debts, your debt ratio is 64%. You are very dangerous. So there you go. It's telling you that you should make a plan to aggressively pay off your debts. But when the bank does this for you to see if you qualify, stressed, whatever they want to call it this nowadays, they don't inquire food. They never ever inquire food. Never. They have other, but food costs sometimes more money than your rent, depending on how many people you have in your family. So guys, get on this and start calculating what your debt to income ratio is. So according to this, if you make $4,600 an hour as a household income, you shouldn't be paying $2,600 for rent. You shouldn't have a car loan. You need credit counseling. All right, let's go back here. So it comes as a new report has shown. Mental distress is increasing in older Australians, with nearly half of homeowners aged 55 to 64 still paying off a mortgage. We've been talking about this for ages. People in their golden years retiring and going into retirement with a mortgage still. Why do you think these people keep working and they never retire? Not because they didn't want it. It's not because they want to screw the Gen X's or the millennials. They need to if they want to keep a roof over their head. Up 14% from 30 years ago. That's a huge percentage increase. Foodbank in South Australia is now working on a new agreement which would enable clients to access its food services directly with a voucher funded by a major bank. Wow. You're kidding me. So the banks are now like Mother Teresa or whatever, or, handing out. What the heck is going on here? Now you get the banks distribution of the food. They're going to start handling everything. The bank's going to control everything. However, Foodbank of South Australia Chief Executive Greg Pattison told ABC Radio Adelaide it was still exploring a program would work. We're being approached by banks to find a way of referring their clients to Foodbank to try to avoid any defaulting mortgage payments, he said. Why do they keep pumping this up? Why don't they let this thing go? If you can't afford food, then you're in over your head. Okay? If you can't afford to feed your family, then you spent more than you could. You bit more than you could chew off. Okay? That's why we're exploring some of these banks at the moment. It hasn't started yet, but we are still working through the process. What about the people that didn't buy into this whole shenanigans, have a little bit of savings, do go to the food bank from time to time just to help, stay within check and stuff, and didn't go crazy with these $3 million homes that are realistically worth 200 grand. Woo! We've never been approached by financial institutions in the past and the banks. Yeah, because it's ludicrous. to their credit and doing the right thing in trying to find a way of keeping people in their house. I get that. I totally get that. But tomorrow, if the stock market crashes and I lose all my money in the stock market, I didn't gamble money I wasn't afraid to lose. So if it goes away, it's bye-bye. I'll make it back another time. But people are gambling. Guys, never gamble a game that you can't play. Never. He said traditionally, Foodbank worked through charities and welfare sector, but it has seen an increase in the number of people who require food assistance that are working. Well, in California, it's even worse. People have degrees and they're homeless. Degrees and they're homeless. And not in liberal arts. I mean like engineering and stuff, and they're homeless. Nurses, homeless in California. Okay? So Australia is not too bad right now. Increasingly, we are approached by now organizations and other traditional charities. So schools, for example, where the schools have identified the children's parents who are doing it tough, he said. I guess children are having breakfast, right? Each year, we've seen an increase in South Australia anywhere up to 20% in the number of people seeking food assistance. Mr. Patson said the stereotype of person or family that require food assistance was diminishing. He said more people must be suffering from mortgage stress because more of these needing help were from working families. We certainly do provide services to the unemployed and to the people who are homeless, he said. But we're seeing an increase in the numbers of working families and working Australians who are needing to seek food assistance because of the cost of living increases. I saw a Porsche parked out at the food bank here in Merritt. There was a Porsche parked out front. I thought he parked there and took a walk. He was coming out of the food bank going into his car. Older Porsche. It was from 2008, 2009, but still. We see an increase in demand, for example, for every 3 months when people get their electricity bills. Yeah, go figure. It's a case of those weeks where people are saying, we'll make sure the kids are fed, the roof is over our head, but mom and dad don't eat this week. Trying to help clients balance their budget. Mr. Pattison said the fact it had been approached by the banks and shown significant shift, and the food bank was working on a project to support those in need. We're getting inquiries from the schools, pastoral care workers, and from principals in various schools around the state, he said. And increasingly, we are now seeing inquiries from banks and financial institutions who are looking to try to find a way to help their clients balance their budget. Stop taking out debt you can't afford to pay back! Stop buying crap! Filling your house with junk! He said the program was still in its early stages, but he hoped that the food bank would have a concrete program in place within the next 2 or 3 months. It might have been as simple as the banks referring their clients to the food bank food hubs, he said. But there would obviously be conditions to that which would have to be assessed by the bank to make sure those people are genuinely in need of those services. We don't want to shift the food away from the people who are genuinely needing it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's happening here. It's really, 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 really scary what's happening, and it's good that the food bank's getting donations so that they could redistribute. It's great. I see food banks as redistribution centers, centers that basically redistributed the food to the ones in need, right? But if you have a house that you can't afford to pay, just sell the house. If you can't eat and you're going to go a week without eating, like it said in the article, sell your house. What's wrong with these people? These people don't need more credit. These people need credit counseling. I don't know, man. I don't know. See, look what's happening in Australia. It's supposed to be a first world country, but you know what? I could bet you 100 to 1 Australia doesn't have multiple electricity companies. When I lived in Florida or other states that I've been to, we could choose different electricity companies, right? We could choose different gas companies for service. We could choose, but I could bet you 100 to 1. Australia is just bang on like Canada, where you got one gas company, one electrical company, and they control the rackets. And if you want to find something competitive, and all internet and cell phone companies are all expensive, I think it's the same thing in Australia like Canada. I think they're floating the same boat, where people are getting. I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you guys, man. I don't even know how to tell you guys this, but this is turning it's turning for worse. So food banks help them pay their mortgage. I don't know what to tell you guys. I really don't know what to say. I look forward to reading your comments below. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and look forward to reading your comments. Thanks for watching, guys.